Hey, Monday movie fans. Today we are talking up. We usually talk down to you people, but now we are. The 2009 Pixar film. It was the 10th animated Pixar film. I'm Frank Gaffney. Forgot who I was. Here with us is Joel Fenster, Joel Minutia Fenster, Amy Goldman and Cringer. There you go. Annie King, and who's actually at home today, and Mark Wotitz Gartner, and Doug. Annie.
Yeah, I wanted to see an animated film because we do so many.
Wait a minute. You've never seen this movie?
No, I did. So I wanted us to see an animated film
okay.
because we do so many war movies and stuff. And this is one of my favorites. I think Pixar gets it. It's colors are brilliant. It's a great
Wait. You're
story.
giving a review. I don't
No,
need
no. Mainly because my nephew looks just like Russell.
Phone.
Oh my God, he so does.
Yeah. So that's why I picked him.
And he was never a Boy Scout.
Never a Boy Scout, but he had the roundest Russell face when he was a little kid. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so this is my third time seeing Up, and I still love it. Up begins with one of the most beautiful 11 minutes ever put on film. It's really a silent movie, and it tells the story of Carl and Ellie who meet as kids and the wonderful life they shared together. It really is so beautiful. And then there's a knock on the door, and elderly Carl and his house go on one final adventure. Well, hopefully not a final adventure. With the stowaway Russell, the dutiful wilderness explorer scout. Okay, he's a Boy Scout. Come on. They couldn't get permission? They didn't want permission?
Yeah, there's probably too much, controversy over
the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts. So
it's as charming an adventure as you could want. And Carl, who is the absolutely perfect Ed Asner, it's like they wrote it for him. But it kind of looks like him, but it kind of also looks like Spencer Tracy in his later years.
No, it's Barry Hattrick in 20 years.
Oh, Barry. Okay.
20.
10.
I think he's also got a little bit of Walter Matthau in him.
Oh, yeah, I could see that for sure.
I saw pure Ed Asner.
And Russell, also terrific, and I don't think he's still an actor, is he? His name is Jordan Nagai. Terrific. And they're a terrific odd couple, bringing in the Walter Matthau. And then you have the bird Kevin. Oh my gosh.
So funny. God.
The talking dogs, but they're not really cute. And the guard dogs are all kind of mean dick dogs, but of course, Doug is adorable. And Christopher Plummer is perfect as the villain. And it really is, for me, it really is one of the best Pixar movies, even though all 10 of them probably in the 3.5, 4-star for me. And it's one of the great animated films. But here's my problem with saying that, is that some people, I'm looking at you, Keith Collins, think an animated movie is automatically for kids, that they won't go see animated movies. I'm like, you're ridiculous, because this movie couldn't be more for kids and less for kids.
Right.
So let's just say it's a great film. Leave out the animated part. Everything about it is so clever. It's touching. It's funny. It's so beautiful to look at, really. It was nominated for 5 Oscars and won 2 of them. Best Animated Feature. Was this the first year they had that category?
No.
Wasn't that Beauty and the Beast year?
No.
Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture only.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year Best Animated Feature was introduced.
And it also won for the beautiful score by Michael Giacchino. Is that right? Giacchino?
I think so. I could be
2002.
2002. So it was a few years.
But it's 2009.
Yeah.
And it's one of only 3 animated movies to actually be nominated as Best Picture. The other 2 being Beauty and the Beast and Toy Story 3, both 4-star movies. And damn, it still made me cry even the third time. Good Lord. I mean, of course, after that 11 minutes, it's you crying right there. But also, when he's looking through the scrapbook later
Oh
on
my
in the movie, I was like, oh gosh, rip my heart out right now.
Yeah.
And then when he gives little, what's his name? Russell, the Ellie badge, I'm like, oh, oh my gosh. And then when the house lands in its final resting place, I'm like, oh, they made it.
Right on the Wicked Witch of the East.
Right. That's a different movie. All right. And then there's so many really funny, clever things, but one actually made me think of Mark Gartner. At the very end of the movie, when they're watching the cars go by, and Russell says red car, and Carl says blue car, and the dog says gray car.
Oh my God, I love that. I was hoping everybody caught that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, and it didn't go on. It just,
Yeah.
that was it. They didn't.
that was it. Yeah.
I'm like, didn't belabor that joke. And if you got it, you got it, obviously. But totally it was like gray car, dog going sees in black and white. All right, so and I know it's gonna be very weird when I say these words, but no nits to pick. None.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
I love this movie.
I think hell just froze over.
I know.
All right, now I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent not related to this movie. A.O. Scott, who has been the movie critic for the New York Times since 1999, he decided to stop writing movie reviews. He's going to start reading books. Books. And reviewing them. I don't get it. Whatever. Okay. But this is what he said. The thing I love most about the movies is their ability to obliterate reason and abolish taste. You know the jump scare is coming, but you jump anyway. You suspect that you should be offended by this joke, but you laugh helplessly in spite of yourself. Why are you crying? You don't really know, but you can't argue with your tears. That's the beauty of going to the movies. He put it so beautifully. That is the whole thing. Even though you say you have taste and you're sophisticated and grown up,
Sure.
the
Mature.
movies, they get to you. They get to you. And he said that movies conjure up intense emotions, invent new worlds, and disclose unsuspected truths about the one that we inhabit. That's it. That's exactly why we love movies. This is why we're watching movies as a group, because we love movies. We love what they bring to us. They surprise us, they entertain us, and we love all of them. We love good ones, we love bad ones. Right, Joel?
Yes, very much so. The bad ones.
Yeah. And for whatever reason they appeal to you, they appeal to you. And that's the fun of this group, I feel, really, because we really do have a cross section of moviegoers here.
Yeah.
Joel and I, who are the sophisticated film goers. And the populists like Annie and Mark.
Yeah.
And I don't know where Amy fits in that.
Right
I
in the
don't
middle.
either. I don't either.
She's a cat lady.
So absolutely 4 stars for me. I love this movie. Love this movie. Amy Goldman, don't you love this movie?
I do. This is probably the third time I saw it. I saw it in the theater because back then, if this was the 10th Pixar, I think Pixar was still at its absolute peak. And if it was a Pixar movie, you ran to the theater. It was a while before I saw one that I thought, ugh, and I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't that long ago.
I wasn't but Cars, man.
Cars I liked. I didn't see Cars 2 because I
Yeah.
heard.
3-star Cars.
Cars 2
Yeah.
for me is like, it's the Thor 2 of.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about it. But there's
It's a
something
dark
else
world.
I thought was
It's a
terrible.
dark
But
world.
recently,
Cars 2, Dark World.
the last few Pixar movies have been absolutely 4-star brilliant again. Anyway, the only nit, and it's not even a nit, but this movie is loaded with it's very formulaic. You know exactly what's going to happen in each act, and the bad guy and everything is going to happen happens. But I still, and then the closing credits in the scrapbook was so cute, and some of the pictures kind of match with what the job was, which was just fabulous. So I don't really have anything to say. The acting was great, like you said. The animation is beautiful. The dogs were fabulous. Making the big, alpha dog have that look like this was adorable. And then of course he fixed it. It was all just so good, so fucking good. I give this movie 4.5 stars out of 4.
I don't
There's
think
not-
we've ever, I think we've ever gone 4.5 stars.
4.5 stars. There's not one moment where I wasn't, and I know I've seen the movie. I still can't love it more.
And it's so funny because in any particular situation, they're so good about being clever, obviously, but also not belaboring the moment, not belaboring the joke. It really is so beautifully done.
Yes, the one joke that repeated was squirrel.
Yeah.
And it was never to the point where I write already. It was like 4 times throughout 90 minutes. And even when the big bad dogs were like squirrel, it was fabulous. And Kevin was just the cutest thing. And the little babies, everything was so perfect. And I remember for such a long time afterwards, we would all be talking squirrel. I forgot this was the movie that came from.
Mark, you have a short attention span, squirrel.
I'm going to even up the stars a little bit. This is my second time seeing this, and I don't love this one, but I certainly don't hate it. I guess my nits, my nits are more, maybe I shouldn't detract from the movie because this is more personal than a knock on the movie, but the opening, while Frank, like you said, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of sad, and it sets a really sad tone, and his curmudgeonness throughout the whole thing, it's just too much of a downer for me, generally speaking. Okay, that's where I'm coming from.
Because you know why, Mark? Because this is where you're headed. So
You'll get there way before me, Frank.
I will never be a
Exactly.
curmudgeon. I will
Yeah.
never be a
Well,
curmudgeon.
neither will I. Hello, come on, look at my personality. I'm not like that. I mean, whatever. And also, I don't really have a fear of heights, but the whole sequence of them flying down to South America, when you're on the porch with standing outside, I mean, there's winds up there. All right, so that's all that's going through my head. Is they're going to fly off the porch? I mean, and I started getting so much anxiety because I was like, oh, they're in the house, they're by the window. Don't stand near the window. The house can tilt. You can go out the window. It literally affected like that. It bothered me. Put it that way. It really bothered me. I don't know what. Maybe I have issues. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, you have issues.
that certainly talks to you getting involved in a movie. Goodness.
Yeah. Oh no. It totally. And I remembered those parts. Actually, I remember the house so much. I remember the opening sequence being really sad, and I remember being enjoying it more this time, seeing that. Yeah, sure, the ending was sad, but it was also beautiful, the life that they had. So I certainly didn't hate it. But
Right. But why couldn't they adopt a kid? Never mind. Moving on.
But having said that, Doug and Kevin, I mean, for me, obviously, I mean, I think all of us here are big, animal fans, but they're just adorable. Doug saying the word point while pointing.
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't remember that at all. That point, that was hilarious.
So adorable.
And I'm not a big poop joke guy, but the kid with the shovel being confused about digging the hole, that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious and cute in a very kid way.
Before.
Yeah, before. And I think Frank, you already mentioned it, but yeah, I think everyone's going to mention it. At the end, when he found Ellie's adventure book and sees that all the pictures are there of their whole life, that was truly my favorite part of the movie. Very, very touching.
And when she wrote in the book, go have another new adventure.
Yes, I know. It gets you. So while I really enjoyed the movie, but just the general sadness and the flying heights anxiety brings it down for me. So I give it 3.25 stars. If it wasn't for that,
Wow.
yeah. No, I went back and forth. At first, I was like, oh God, if I didn't watch this movie, it would have gotten 2.5 stars if I had just gone by memory. So I definitely enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would have. But I guess the reason I don't want to rewatch it still because of those feelings. So that's what brings it down for me.
Interesting.
Yes.
Joel, what were the other 9 Pixar?
before Up, let's see.
Toy Story was number one.
Toy Story,
Got it.
Bugs Life, Cars, Toy
Toy
Story
Story 2,
2,
Monsters Inc.,
Monsters Inc.,
Finding Nemo,
Finding Nemo,
The
yeah,
Incredibles,
yep.
The
that's-
Incredibles I didn't love.
Ratatouille,
Sacrilege.
Yeah, I might have to rewatch that
and
one.
Wall-E.
Wally,
Oh, Wall-E.
yeah,
Wally was just a year before.
yeah, okay.
And
Just-
a little bit
something-
thematically, it does. This movie kind of has the same kind of opening with a different movie than the actual movie becomes. Because I thought Wally, that first half hour was a 4-star movie, and the rest of it, I'm like, oh, it's a 3-star movie now.
Bugs
Aw.
Life, Monsters Inc., Finding the Incredible Cars, Ratatouille. That was
Oh,
one
yeah.
missing. I knew there was one more missing.
Raccoonie.
Raccoonie, yes. um,
So
I
the
love
only
this.
one that's a dip there, again, I said already, is Cars.
um,
I couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of Wally. Never watched it.
Oh,
I
wow. I like that one.
I have to admit,
That's
for
the
me,
attention span.
those first 10, and I'll say 11, the first 11 Pixar movies, they're not all 4-star movies, but they're all really close, including Cars for me. It's Cars 2 that it's like, what the hell happened? Who took the
Wait
day
a minute,
off?
what's number 11?
Number 11 would be Toy Story 3.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oscar
and then Cars 2 is number 12. So they didn't even get to like the unlucky 13 with that one. It was,
so right off the clip at number 12.
yeah.
The ones from the last few years have been brilliant.
Trying to think of the one that you said was bad before that, because I'm sitting here going, all right, Lightyear, their last movie that was released was,
I didn't see that.
it's fun, but it's not great.
Yeah. It's not a 4-star, yeah, but it is.
like Turning Red, Luca, Soul, Onward, Toy Story 4, Incredibles 2, Coco. All right, Cars 3, that's the one we have to go back to. That was like, yeah, why are we still visiting these characters?
Lucas, Soul, and Coco were 4 stars.
I
A
wasn't
lot,
that
a,
crazy
a lot of
about
them are really
it.
close.
Mm.
Anyway, we're talking about Up,
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
really.
Let's talk up.
which is the whenever my kids ask me what's up when they come home from school, I was like, what's a
Nah.
Pixar movie? You've seen it.
That joke.
Yep. I love this movie. I've seen it maybe 5 times at this point. I'm not entirely sure. I lose track after 3, and it just becomes pointless. It's like, this is on, I'm gonna
No,
watch.
you used to keep a book with every single movie and how
I
many.
did. Oh no, I actually use Letterbox to keep track of every movie I've
Okay.
seen, but
Right.
occasionally it's like there are gaps in there because this movie came out in 2009. So obviously, when I added it last night that I had seen it, I was like, oh, according to this, I've never seen it before because I hadn't logged it before. So
Ah,
seen it before, but I couldn't tell you how many times. So
okay, how you said 2009.
yeah, but I wouldn't remember when in 2009 I
Wow.
saw it.
I saw it in
Um,
the movies, certainly.
No, I know I saw it in the movie. Did I see it in the movies? I actually don't remember. I may not have. It may have been a when it came out on video thing, because Duncan would have been a year old and we may not have been in that phase yet.
Go to the movie thing.
Yeah.
Mark, I love how you were so anxiety ridden about falling out the house, but didn't say anything about how those balloons were carrying it.
Right.
No, that was part of it. That was
Not
part. And then when
really,
they started
yeah.
popping, absolutely.
Not really reality there.
Somebody did. I remember reading somewhere that somebody actually calculated how many helium balloons would take
I
to,
remember that, yeah.
and it's like way more than they actually show in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And
again, to the cleverness, when there were balloons missing and the house landed, and then he was like, I got to get an airlift, and he threw everything out.
yeah,
Okay, how a 75-year-old man could move all that furniture by himself.
especially
But-
the refrigerator.
And the refrigerator. And then it was airborne again. I'm like, oh my God, they really thought about this whole thing really beautifully.
It is a beautiful film. I will go out on a limb and say, I think it should have won Best Picture.
Whoa.
For
Oh,
those
oh.
fans of The Hurt Locker, I'm going to say this is a better film that to me stands up better. But that's that's me. Having seen it a number of times, I'm always amazed at little things that I catch each time I see it. I hadn't noticed before when the two guys from Shady Pine, Shady Grove, whatever
Shady
whatever
Pines,
the hell the retirement community is, show up at his house, and they're shot from the back looking in at Carl, that the big guy, his tag is sticking up.
Yeah.
I was like, I had never noticed that before. And it's a little detail like that. It's a
Right.
stupid little thing that you're kind of like, that somebody took the time to actually put that into an animated film tells
Right.
you what they're really doing at Pixar.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all those tiny little details, and
Right.
it's a beautiful film. Like the shots when the house is going up past the building and the little girl's playing in the living room, and you have the windows and the colors, just all those colors of the balloons and the light going through it, passing by on the walls, is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous film. I'm not going to say anything else about it at this point, other than, as much as I'd love to give it 4.5 stars like Amy, I feel like we have to constrain ourselves, otherwise it's just complete chaos. So I'm going to stick with 4 stars.
All right, Frank, you can give me 4, but everybody watching knows how I really feel.
I would give it 4.5 if, you know,
I know.
If those were the parameters.
yes. We have to stick within, so, you know, there has to be some sort of law and order and rules to things.
Like you can't give 110%.
Exactly.
yes.
Great. Now I've got The Simpsons in my head.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
know,
Amy.
yeah. That is impossible. You cannot give more than 100%. Oh, Joel.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of The Simpsons, I was looking. That was one
Wait,
of
now,
the-
Avery, you actually kissed him the wrong way.
Yes. Thank you, Frankie.
For me, he's right there. Okay,
Yeah.
No, he's not
Joel.
right.
You're supposed to put him in order.
You're right there for me.
He's in the middle for me. I'm on the right. I'm number 3.
All right, we'll see how that looks tomorrow.
It must, you know, it's a
You
mirror
look off
thing.
screen.
It's
You
a
look off
mirror
screen.
thing.
Well,
I'm
we're gonna
mirroring.
Joel is there. Joel is there.
And Frank is there.
No, I'm here. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm pointing at
No.
you now.
Joel, you're pointing the wrong way.
I'm
Joel's
pointing at
pointing
you
at
on my
me.
thing.
You're pointing at me.
Yeah, see, there's a problem there.
This has evolved into chaos.
Yes.
Anyway,
Back to the
Thing is right
movie.
there.
quickly speaking of The Simpsons, Jordan Nagai did a voice on The Simpsons. It's one of the few things he's done aside from Up and the Doug shorts. So
Oh, wow.
he played an orphan that wanted to be Bart's little brother.
Oh.
Cute. Annie King, this was all your idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
thanks a
great
lot.
movie. I wanted to say, like, the colors, it just was so beautiful what Joel
Time
did.
to do all the colors of the balloons was gorgeous.
So, yeah, so great. And so funny thing is that I watched it the other night, and then so I, made sure I got it in. And then yesterday I was with a bunch of friends, and I always talk about what movie I'm seeing this week, and some of them had not seen it, so I wound up watching it twice.
Wow.
2 consecutive days I
Did your
watched.
friends love it?
Yeah, of course. It's the beginning is just, we were a little worried that it was too sad for some people, but she was okay with it. So
There's a quick question about that opening sequence, is because we're all talking about how sad and but yet beautiful it is in the way it's constructed. What's sadder for a kid? Bambi's mom being shot off screen that you hear, or this? And
I don't think they get the Bambi's mother being shot off screen.
I don't know that they necessarily get either of it. I think this one hits adults
Oh, yeah.
more than it's going to hit kids for the
Absolutely.
sadness. So
I'd like
whereas I would
to.
think, kids hearing the gunshot off screen is going to be, did Bambi's mom just get shot? So
yeah.
But then you have to explain infertility to them also.
that's
Yeah. Well, I saw it twice, and both times, even though it was a day apart, I jumped. And I knew Ellie was coming when Russell was peeking into the house when they were when they first met. And both times I jumped. I was like, it's ridiculous. That's why people hate going to the movies with me, because I jump all
She's
the
a
time.
jumper.
He just jumped on.
Yeah. It's just fun. It's beautiful. And Doug, what more can you say? There's Doug, you know? So it's a 4-star movie for me. And it like makes me want to write, you know, have my own adventure book to leave to
Yeah,
my,
right?
Ah,
so
so Danny can have an adventure when you're gone.
yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
nice. That's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, this is a great movie. What was I gonna say about and the whole segment where Carl and what's his name? Murdoch. Is it Murdoch?
Oh, months.
Oh,
Months
Kirk
are
Douglas.
fighting each other, right? And he says spit it out and his teeth come flying out. I'm like, that's a terrible old joke. It's an old person joke, but
but when they both go up like this and their backs seize up. Oh,
But again,
Oh my gosh.
it goes to the economy of writing that Pixar uses. I don't think there's anything else in the film that tells us that Carl has false teeth until that moment.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it's brilliant because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's
That little bit of
typical old
surprise.
person thing, yeah, and it's funny. And they don't belabor it. They don't, you know, it's not like all of a sudden Carl is spitting, you know, his teeth out at every
Everywhere.
dog that comes
Yeah.
next, you know, and up to him. But
Yeah.
and
I guess,
go
I
ahead.
guess they don't have polygrip in South America.
But I like the line when she says it's like America, but South.
Right.
yes. And two more things at the end there too with the guard dogs. Number one, the dogs playing poker, very obvious.
Yes. Oh my
And
god.
then right around then too, when they all take off in their little fighter jets, they red leader. It's a Star Wars joke
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
then the squeak toy to fire the gun. Oh,
Yes.
I also
That's
like that the guns are not firing bullets at them. They're firing the darts.
Yeah.
to get the balloons.
Yeah. Which,
Oh my
which I think is
gosh.
great. And I love the fact that they get distracted again by, you know, squirrel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I
And
thought it was very like Wizard of Oz, you know, like with the whole storm and the house and everything. So when you
Yeah.
said it landed, I thought that was perfect.
Yeah.
And my one other one that killed me was when Russell and Carl are walking, and Russell says, "My knee hurts." And Carl says, "Which one?" And he's like, "My elbow hurts."
And you know, one last thing for me, just the geek in me was like very concerned that he wanted to land it where he landed it, because it was right by the opening of a huge waterfall, which means there's erosion there, and that's the most unstable part. It's going to collapse eventually. I'm like, you want to be like a good 150 yards away.
Yeah, but he'd be dead by the time it actually eroded and collapsed.
He's going to be dead in a week anyway. He's got no water or electricity.
Yeah, but so what difference does it make where the house is at that point?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it really is such a great movie. And I could just imagine the writer's room. Every time somebody would come up with something brilliant, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what if it's
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah."
What
And
if instead of pointing, he points and says point?
Yeah,
Brilliant.
exactly.
But it's not just he points and says point. It's they put him. That's how Pluto points. When yeah, it's exact. Pluto would straight line it like that, and you know, it's
Oh,
kind of like,
funny.
all right, so let's make him do like Pluto.
But isn't that how all dogs point?
Yes,
Well,
I mean Einstein does it constantly here.
I mean, that's the
so.
stereotypical way dogs point. They straighten up and put the
Right,
claw down.
but I think it's you know, I'd have to research it whether that was a Pluto thing that created that stereotype.
But you know, Doug is not a
Oh.
pointer.
No,
Right.
What kind of dog? What kind of dog is he? A lab? Yellow lab?
he's a
Mutt.
Doug dog.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
mutt.
mutt.
Mutt. Love Doug. All right, are we done?
So my nephew actually has an internship at Disney World coming up.
Oh,
And I
fine.
said, I hope they make you Russell, because you can meet the characters. I was like, why don't they make you Russell?
No costume needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they,
The badges.
when you do meet Russell, it's somebody inside a Russell costume.
Yes.
Ugh.
But the other thing also, the sad part was the whole Russell's dad story.
Yeah,
So that and Phyllis is not my mom. I was
Right.
just,
yeah,
But it was also great to actually briefly see his mom at the end.
Yes.
To get that connection that, you know, there is a single mom trying to raise this boy, and that the father is kind of a,
loser.
yes.
It'd be-
Didn't even
it'd be
show up.
good. Yep.
All right. Well, we love Up, except for Mark. Up is available on Disney Plus if you subscribe to that streaming service, and you can rent it from Vudu or Prime for $3.99, or borrow it from your local library. Next week, we're catching the classic Citizen Kane, 1941. This was Amy's choice. Amy, have you seen it already?
yeah, a long time ago, so it'll be brand new again.
It is
Like
available on
30 years ago.
It is available on HBO Max.
Okay,
You can
okay.
subscribe to that. And or you could catch it on TCM Sunday, March 26th at 11:30 a.m. Right the day before we review it.
Yeah.
All right, kids.
All right,
That's it for us. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
Bye-bye.
Also with you.